for Easter. Pascha has passed. Took off my little screen protector. I should probably put it back on. This is a stylus capable. I don't even know what they call them. A Note. I don't even know what they call this kind of phone. Anyway, you're supposed to use a stylus for it. I mean, you can use your fingers, but there's a lot of I guess miscommunication between the electricity in your finger and the current that's flowing through the screen. So a lot of stuff ends up messed up. But stylus disappeared, and I'm too cheap to order another one. I'd rather just order a whole new phone, you know, than have a stylus for two phones. But anyway, this isn't about phones. This is about anybody who watches this channel knows the things that happen to my family and how there's a great deal of targeting. And, you know, anybody who understands community organizing and understands anthropology understands how people can reach out to family members in other states, how people that are in Facebook groups and such can reach across not only states but internationally. And that's why the organizing and the targeting of my family's locally, yeah, it's, I would say probably a couple of dozen families and then their friends and others. And then they use their connections within health clinics, within agencies, to further target us. And they put a lot of stuff in social media, that anything negative, anything, it doesn't matter what it is, anything negative, and they can find somebody who doesn't like me or whatever, then they'll have them make a statement. Anything bad to paint me in a negative light, they will put there. Because there's nothing on me. You know, I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm not saying I'm holy like some of these people up here, but I'm certainly struggling with it. And since we came here to this place, probably struggling with my personal holiness more than I have been for a long time. You know, all the things that happen, they take a toll on you. You get this attitude where you're like, it's the devil. You know, the devil will try to make you angry and, you know, not care, and then you mess up. And he'll try to make you not pray as much. You know, thankfully, he isn't one with that. But anyway, yeah, it gets to you. And, you know, in the Tri-County area, especially Saginaw County, there's a lot of evil people here. And I can't figure it out. You know, I know a lot of people are moving here. I'm not going to go into all the reasons why people are flocking to Michigan. But, well, actually, yes, I will. Okay, you give one thing. What thing that started with people that settled in Michigan that were resettled by the human trafficking task force. It started as, you know, help for college and other type, you know, social welfare and social support mechanisms were put in place. Well, now anyone in the state without a college degree, if you have a bachelor's degree, you are ineligible, which is crazy to me. It's just absolutely crazy. Do they think by paying for somebody's bachelor's degree, they're going to prevent the brain drain? And everybody that looks at statistics, especially from mid-Michigan, they know there is a serious brain drain. The only people that are coming here or staying here work in medicine. And the vast majority of people that are working in medicine here were not born here. So their investment here is only for work. And if they can leave eventually, many of them do. So this doesn't help the brain drain. You know, they should be trying to make college open for everyone. But anyway, it is what it is. So people are coming here because of that. You know, we're talking about millions of people eligible for a free college education. And it's not just here, it's anywhere in Michigan. But people flock here because it's a lower cost of living. Well, it used to be until they started manipulating real estate pricing. I'll go into that later. But you have people with that. And then you have this 10-year long legal battle over the Sex Offenders Registry Act in Michigan. It's been in court. Last time I knew was an update last year, and it was in court again. It's been in court since 2019. Every 6 months to a year, it'll go to court again, and the legislature wants to wait to decide what to do till all of these challenges are done, which we could be talking 20 or 30 years, because significant money is being put by ACLU, but somebody is backing this, probably some 1% registered sex offenders, probably, and people may or may not be repented and made peace with their victim. I'm not discussing that right now. But significant money is behind this challenge, significant money for the ACLU to keep stepping it up. But people are coming here because of that. There's certain periods of time, if they have a certain class sex offense and they have a certain kind of conviction or pleading out, there's just certain criteria. If they have one or more than one of those criteria, they don't have to register here. So it's like a free-for-all. Move to the state of Michigan. Like I said, I don't know. I haven't had an update in the last year and a half. So, but last time I knew, a year and a half ago, the legislature was still waiting on another challenge that had just started. Well, so you have groups of people here that are not registered. And my experience, at least in one county, the only way if you're living near a registered offender is if they fall within that particular, like I said, there's a lot of gaps. But if they're, mandated to register, that's the only way you know. Complexes won't even tell you, even if they hire them. Now, again, I'm a firm believer, and, people, they can repent, they can make peace with their victim, they can change, and then you just put certain protections in place in case they fail. But, if you have to wall them off, then, you have to wall them off to a certain point, certain things. But, anyway, so they're flocking here because of that. Then you have people, Michigan has one of the most robust and comprehensive human trafficking task force operations in the U.S. So you have that. And then you have people that are settling here because they were in there's a pathway. I'm not going to go into it in depth, but there's a pathway that goes all the way from Chicago through a couple of cities in Ohio, Indiana, and the pathway goes all the way up through Michigan, through Detroit, and through the Blue Water area, all the way up into Canada. A human trafficking pathway. I wrote a very long thesis on parts of this pathway, but anyway, so some people are here because of that. And let's see, that's pretty much about it. So you have people there because of those issues that I just mentioned. And you got businesses that are actually trying to recruit people. Some businesses will give people a very small moving fee. I actually worked at a call center like this, believe it or not. They will help people get money to move, and then when they come here, they will be guaranteed a job. And then there's mechanisms in place, of course, under the table, but I've encountered mechanisms under place. If people work somewhere for 2 or 3 years at a business, there's certain people and mechanisms under the table that will help them process disability claim. This is causing problems for real people who have a disability problem, but people are still doing it. And it's probably one reason why we're losing our Social Security office in Saginaw County, because this stuff is going on. Probably, I would bet. It's not just a population thing. It's also because the stuff going on. People for disability, even in with the VA. I've encountered. I was turned down for a power chair, but I'm not going to say anything about the gentleman that they gave the chair to, except one, he's walking a lot easier than me. Two, I was told that one of the reasons that I was denied was because I was a younger guy. They don't usually give them to guys my age. That's what I was told. So that's two primary reasons. Oh, then three, I have to have a pure, truly neurological disorder, which is not true. That's a lie. She lied to me there, so I'm done with that lady. I don't like people who lie. I've known a lot of people who have those chairs paid for by the VA. You don't have to have a neurological disorder with like muscular dystrophy or Lou Gehrig's or something like that. It's garbage. It's garbage. Because the vast majority of those neurological pathologies, they present before the time frame that somebody would be a veteran. In many cases, and in the cases that they don't present at an earlier age, the amount of stress that your body goes on and the amount of turmoil that your body is put into when you're in your 30s and you're an active duty military member, it would bring it on. So, right there, I've shot her argument down. Not a concrete shot against her argument, but a significant obstacle to defending her case right there. These diseases generally present before 30 to 40-ish. Not always, but generally they present before that, 30 to 40-ish. They would, I'll say, for somebody who's an active duty military member. They would present before 30 to 40-ish. So the likelihood of people having a severe neurological disorder, and she didn't say trauma, she didn't say injury, she said specifically disorder. So to me that says a neurological disease. It could be IED, concussion type things. They may or may not fall in there. Like I said, her choice of words kind of makes me not think of any concussive or IED related trauma. It makes me think of a neurological disease. So her choice of words, I guess it could have been a bad choice of words, but obviously she hasn't studied pathology. But anyway, so yeah, that's with that. But my claim has now been handed to a senior reviewer, according to my VA file. I've never seen anybody. The Veterans Evaluation Service, all we did is play voicemail tag for almost a month. They made 2 or 3 appointments. They never consulted with me for any of them. They just sent me a letter. Oh, this is your appointment. Oh yeah, surprise, it's 7 days away. What? Yeah, we're required by law to make them as expedient as possible. Well, you tell the person a week before, oh yeah, by the way, you're going for your VBA claim exam. Oh, well, thanks. Anyway, supposedly they have my VA or my active duty medical file. I haven't seen anything posted that says they don't. They should. It's kept right there for all Navy and Naval Reserve personnel. BUMED doesn't keep your record once you're fully separated. They go to the a record center, the VA record center. I don't know if it goes to the one in Wisconsin or if they go to the record center nearest you. I'm not sure. Or if there's multiple record centers that are at multiple intake centers. There's several intake centers for the U.S. for military, for the VA, I mean. several intake centers that handle VBA claims. So perhaps when you retire or separate, they send the records to the closest, the regional one for wherever you live. I don't really know. But I know my records are there because it says so right on all of your military records request forms. All of your medical records go to, at least mine, go to Regional VA Claim Center upon separation or retirement. Normally they're kept at BUMED. If you're a reservist or if you are active duty, BUMED has your records. But anyway, so it's going to a senior claims handler, and absolutely nothing has happened with the claim. Nothing. I'm putting this video out there. Maybe you'll find other veterans especially veterans who are being targeted. God only knows why we're being targeted. I don't know. I only know, maybe I've encountered a lot of human traffickers the past 25 years in my travels because I travel so much. And yeah, maybe I've uncovered some people who support this kind of behavior, and I had to deal with it, whether confronting them or whether just trying to find out what's really going on. I mean, yes, this is true, but I've been hacked and I've had my identity stolen more than once. But still, there's a lot of unknown questions why my family is targeted so much. But I only have pieces to the puzzle. Yeah, I have a lot of pieces, but I don't have them all. But the VA has done nothing but target us so much. I should have known, though, because the minute that we entered one of their homeless programs, things didn't go well from the beginning. So much stuff has happened, and they don't do anything. They don't even discipline their own social workers. But if you're a veteran who, the VA not only is giving you bad care, or they're blaming the referral coordinators, or they're blaming community care, we get into a blame game. Nobody wins a blame game. Matter of fact, when you look at a blame game and you're standing above it, all it looks like is a lot of victims, and there's one victim that loses the most: you. Delays in care, diagnoses that for some reason people don't want to put on paper or they don't want to discuss. They just lightly touch on things. I've been to doctors before that they won't come out and say anything. They'll say, "Oh yeah, there's something there. Here, let me give you all this medicine." What about a diagnosis? Yeah, it's there, but it's not. If it is, it's like, let's say something like, kind of, got a thingamajig that's a little bit nasty and bad, but makes some bad feelings and bad days and some pain and sickness, kind of thingamajig. Something like that. That's what my medical file is full of. And if your medical file is full of that, you're being sidelined and derailed just like me. Because when the intake center looks at this for your disability claim, anything that doesn't have a clear diagnostic code that the VA uses, if somebody is using like WHO diagnostic codes, for what is the International Classification of Disease, some of these things the VA is not going to use. They have their own diagnostic codes that they use, and the only sure place that uses the same diagnostic codes that they do is DOD. But if they got something like, let's say, a European classification of rheumatic disease, no, Not going to help you. So if you got a doctor that's putting that garbage in your file, complain. But keep in mind the PAs, even the IG admits, and it was an investigation 3 years ago. Even the IG of the VA admits that the PA system is not working. It's disenfranchising veterans. All the PA system is doing is helping staff retaliate against veterans. It's not protecting us at all. Matter of fact, in the VA investigation, they sent several IG officers or agents out there undercover, and that's what they found. The PA system, in conjunction with the DBRS system, all they are doing is empowering people to take away veterans fair treatment, to limit or ration their health care, to retaliate against them by flagging them. That way, every time something happens amiss, they're going to get a phone call, or in an extreme situation, they're going to send the police to their house. 4, it holds up and confuses and complicates their medical care. 5, it has a community function where these two things used together stigmatize veterans. The PA system is not working. And another thing they found about the PA system is they found the vast majority of their investigations, actually the PA system empowers and bows down and facilitates anything that administration wants, to the deficit of us veterans. The PA system is not working at all. I know in my experience, in 8 years, I've only had 2 callbacks. 2. They're all the voicemail. So, there may have been 1 call in person very quickly. I take that back. That may have been possibly 1 phone call in person. I think, if I recall, that's where they said, I mailed you a form. No, that was voicemail, yeah. I mailed you a form where you can write down the narrative and the disagreements with the flags in your record and the complaints that providers made in there. That way you can have your say too. Yeah, I appreciate the effort, but the problem is legally, that's not a VA form. When it goes to the privacy ladies or guys to upload it, the privacy and records people, they could just throw it in the trash. It's not a VA form. But anyway, so I'm looking for veterans who stuff like this has happened for you. So mine will be, I think it's only a week or 2 after the claims examiner handles it, but I don't even know if they got my medical record from DOD. Because there's so much retaliation that it's happened with them. It's happened with the VA. It's happened with the intake center. Remember a year and a half ago, my claim was deleted. No, not a year and a half ago. We're about 9 months shy. 9 months ago, my claim was deleted from the system. It never got past level 3. They actually deleted it from the intake system server. It just disappeared one day. It was just gone. So I had to refile last November. And still, we're going into May now. Anyway, this retaliation just keeps happening. So if you're a veteran who's been retaliated like me, if you've been deployed some of the same places that I have, you have a right, even if you weren't under fire, even if you didn't have a burn pit behind your hooch or behind your pod, you still have a right to have your medical care taken care of by the VA and to be evaluated for any illness that may be related to your active duty service, or the drawdown of, I don't want to say drawdown, or the completion of your active duty service. If something happened to you and you were on leave, you're still in the military. Even terminal leave, you're still in the military. So, if you're one of these veterans, reply. If you're repeatedly getting nowhere, if you're repeatedly being targeted, you're repeatedly, things are happening to you, reply to this, and I'm going to try to network people in different places who are being targeted, especially veterans. There's several groups out there that I've uncovered that target me. I have some ideas how they're connected, but that's, it's not the point is to target a couple of groups. We want to target these methodologies. That way these groups that are targeting people for whatever reason, of course, I'm not going to help somebody if you have a trail of victims because you're a bad person. I'm not going to help somebody if you were, you got in trouble with the law and you are unrepentant. I'm not going to help somebody if you're kicked out of the military because you gave your CO the finger and you spit on the flag. Don't expect any help from me. I don't have a lot of resources. I just want to help people. When evil is done to you, God has given me some talents and God has given me a burden to help people who are targeted, help people who are vulnerable, help people who are being abused, help people who are being victimized. Because there's one thing that I hate is predators and is wicked people that want to hurt other people for no reason at all. I'm an American. I took an oath. I believe in my justice system. I'm a Catholic. I believe in the Catholic teachings regarding social justice. I believe in everything that's in the Hebrew scriptures, everything that's in the Christian scriptures regarding justice and righteousness. And I'm a sinner, just like anybody out there. But still, when the Holy Spirit moves me, I'm going to try to listen. I'm not all that I'm not super intelligent. I don't have a lot of means, but I can certainly try to help people. And I can certainly explain the things that have happened to us. So don't expect great wonders, but I will try to my best to anybody who replies to this. And one thing that out there, naysayers and people who want to make trouble on the channel, you're just going to get reported and blocked and deleted. I don't want to waste my time with people who want to waste their time just to go in YouTube. And if you're a troll, don't waste your time. You're just wasting your time. And if you're on your phone, you're wasting your data on me. Find somebody else to troll, insult, harass. You're just wasting your data. And people who target other people online, whether it's trolling or specific targeting because you know somebody's channel, people like this just waste their whole life. These are the kind of people that their parents shake their head. Yep, he or she's doing it again. These are the kind of people. These are the kind of people that, never have money for anything, even their addictions. These are the kind of people that always whine and complain because they don't have data. These are the kind of people that, always have a problem keeping a place. Even if they have a voucher or they have government help, they still can't keep a place. These are people that the birds and their flock are just like them. And if you're one of those, don't waste your time, because I'm not going to waste my time on you. Now, if you're a good person, like I said, whose stuff is happening to you, and especially regarding the VA, I will try to use my resources to help you. Mind you, again, I don't have a ton of resources. I don't have a lot of means, but I don't like to see people who've taken an oath, patriots like me, being targeted, mistreated, abused, forced to live in poverty, their health declining more and more and more, so they end up in a home. I think that's a shame on this nation. So I'm doing whatever I can do to help fight against it.